the region, and the world. Compiled in the News Talk Radio newsroom and powered by DemeraraWaves.com.
The news comes to you with the compliments of Eureka Medical Laboratories. With the news at this time, I am Tiana Jordan. A very good morning to you. To begin the news, here's a look at the lead stories. Locally, Mr. Joseph Harmon says he will still be opposition leader, although Aubrey Norton has been elected leader of the People's National Congress Reform. The new market to Great Diamond Road has officially opened this morning. In regional news, today is VAT-free shopping in Barbados. And internationally, we get the latest bulletin of international news from the BBC World Service. The details coming up right here in just a moment.
A COVID-19 PCR test is now mandatory for many routine activities, including travel and return to work purposes. At Eureka, our trained and experienced staff will ensure confidentiality while your test is conducted in a professional and timely manner, with results in just 48 hours. So the next time you require an efficient and hassle-free PCR COVID-19 test, call 624-8378, 608-8378, or 623-7233 to schedule your appointment. You can also ask about our house call testing service.
And now the news in detail. The People's National Congress Reform's PNCR long-serving executive member, Aubrey Norton, was at the weekend elected leader of his party. In a landslide victory against his opponents, Mr. Norton amassed 967 of the 1,282 votes cast. His closest rival, Joseph Harmon, secured 245 votes, and Dr. Richard Van West Charles obtained 64. The other key positions were also won by persons who are members of Mr. Norton's slate. They are Sherwin Holder as chairman, Mohammed Fazir Murzalin as treasurer, and Elizabeth Niles Williams as first vice chairman. Chief Elections Officer of the PNCR, Vincent Alexander, says Christopher Jones and Viceroy Adams both tied for the position of second vice chairman. Mr. Joseph Harmon on Sunday said he would remain Guyana's opposition leader, although he was defeated by Aubrey Norton for the post of leader of the People's National Congress Reform, PNCR, which controls the opposition coalition. He noted that he would remain as an ordinary member of the PNCR, but would still be leader of the opposition, a national constitutional office. Former PNCR leader David Granger, who is chairman of the PNCR-led A Partnership for National Unity, is legally the representative of the list of candidates for the coalition of APNU plus AFC, and so he enjoys the power of recall and replacement of parliamentarians. In the weeks running up to Saturday's election, Mr. Harmon had pointed to the trend in which the PNCR leader is the opposition leader, and he had said that had been his goal. For his part, Mr. Norton had not committed himself on the topic when he had been quizzed about whether he would seek the replacement of Mr. Harmon as opposition leader. Instead, Mr. Norton had indicated that would be a matter for the party to decide. The Alliance for Change is welcoming the election of a new leader and executive of the People's National Congress Reform, PNCR. The AFC says it hopes that the new executive will strengthen the opposition against the wrongdoings of the government, ensuring that better benefits flow to Guyanese. According to the AFC, a stronger opposition is needed to confront the ills of Guyanese's present circumstances and prepare to meet the socio-economic changes that are rapidly evolving. The AFC says Guyanese are anxious and impatient for change, and they must meet their expectations. Thousands of commuters along the East Bank corridor are expected to breathe a sigh of relief with the opening this morning of the Mocha to Little Diamond Road. President Irvin Ali this morning officially commissioned the road. Speaking at the event, he said that cameras have been installed to detect speeding motorists, and the law will soon be amended to send tickets to errant motorists.
We have designed a safe road usage plan. And in that plan along this road, we envision 3 police outposts. 3 police outposts. 2 of those outposts are already in place. The next phase, which will be very soon, is to connect cameras to those outposts. And you know we're testing right now with the cameras speeding. And I'm very happy to inform you that the cameras can even pick up if you have your seatbelt on. So there are some amendments that will be made to the law to allow for electronic ticketing.
The president is also warning motorists against racing on the Mocha to Little Diamond Road. He also says that heavy-duty vehicles will not be allowed on that road.
This road is designed for a specific category of vehicle, and that is small vehicle SUVs. The big trucks, you will see barriers. If you think it is your responsibility to take down the barriers because you want to break the law, there will be consequences, and you will face the consequences. So, all of us in this society, we have to start to learn that we all have a responsibility. And our responsibility is not only to build, but to take care of what we build.
The president also says that a jogging path may soon be constructed along the roadway as part of the government's vision for health and wellness. And now in regional news. In Barbados, many business owners are pleased with the proposed VAT-free shopping day today. At the same time, Barbados Today reports that the surprise move by the present administration has left many scrambling to implement necessary logistical changes in order to fully take advantage of the expected rise in shopping activity. When asked about the VAT-free day announcement, former president of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Eddie Abed, praised the move as a good one to stimulate shopping, but added that it unfortunately came as a surprise to all in the business sector. Woolworth's managing director, Martin Bryan, also voiced similar concerns with the short notice given about the VAT-free day. He said, while a discussion with stakeholders would have offered them the opportunity to better plan for the day, all systems will be ready in time for the rush on Monday. Although Trinidad and Tobago's opposition United National Congress, UNC, does not support the government's vaccine mandate for public sector employees, they are urging the population to get vaccinated. Speaking during the UNC's media briefing on Sunday morning, former UNC Member of Parliament Dr. Tim Gopising condemned the government for its COVID-19 response, saying the ruling People's National Movement, PNM, have failed. The Trinidad Guardian reports that Gopising said the vaccine mandate goes against the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. Gopising, who has been a doctor for 45 years and specializes in gynecology and gynec cancer, was introduced by his former colleague Senator Anil Roberts as the UNC's expert to dissect the government's COVID-19 response. On Saturday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley announced that come mid-January, the government would implement a vaccine mandate for public sector employees. Immediately afterward, opposition leader Kamla Persad Bisasar criticized this move, saying citizens should not be forced to take the COVID-19 vaccines. Antigua and Barbuda's top 100 grade 6 students for 2021 were honored during the 9th annual CIBC First Caribbean Grade 6 Assessment Awards, which were held virtually and aired on state media last week. This year's top student was Alian E. Challenger of the Grace Christian Academy, but all of the top 100 students were recognized and received awards, a release from sponsor CIBC First Caribbean said. Speaking during the ceremony, Minister of Education, Darrell Matthew, congratulated the students, their parents, schools, principals, and teachers for their outstanding achievements. He noted that if the country is to develop, move forward, and achieve its full potential, it must be recognized that a collective effort is required. And now for the international news, the latest bulletin from the BBC World Service.
Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. Chile's president-elect, the former student activist Gabriel Boric, has promised far-reaching social reform but said he would also keep the economy stable. The 35-year-old beat his far-right rival, José Antonio Cast, with 56% of the vote in a polarising election. Here's our South America correspondent, Katie Watson.
For many, this result was a natural conclusion of the past few years. Protests began in 2019 with a rise in transport costs, but they symbolised so much more and grew to challenge the deep inequalities in a country known for its economic stability. A year later, Chileans voted to rip up the dictatorship-era constitution and write a newer, more inclusive one. This is a new era for Chile and a new kind of president. But Gabriel Boric's biggest challenge will be to unite the millions of Chileans who voted for the other side.
The Turkish lira has fallen to a record low against major currencies after President Erdogan again stressed he would not raise interest rates to tackle an inflation rate of more than 20%. The lira fell a further 5% against the dollar in today's trading. Victoria Craig reports.
It now takes more than 17 Turkish lira to buy $1 US. In January, it took 7. The fresh decline comes after President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Sunday appeared on state TV reiterating his staunch opposition to rate cuts. He said his Muslim faith, which forbids charging or receiving interest on loans, has guided his views. President Erdogan said those complaining that he was decreasing interest rates shouldn't expect anything else from him. Last week, the central bank slashed interest rates for the 4th straight month. Usually, central banks raise rates to help tame rising prices.
The BBC has found evidence of atrocities by soldiers in central Myanmar earlier this year, including torture and mass killings. Eyewitnesses say at least 40 men were rounded up and killed in July. A spokesman for the military government did not deny the allegations. The incidents took place in an area where there's been armed resistance to February's coup. The Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai has given her first media interview in which she retracts an accusation of sexual assault against a former Chinese vice premier. There's international concern the Chinese authorities have coerced Ms. Peng into the statement. Robin Brandt is in Shanghai.
Speaking to a Singapore-based news platform, she said, "I have never said or written that anyone has sexually assaulted me." That is contrary to the lengthy post last month when she said the senior Communist Party official Zhang Gaoli had forced her to have sex. Peng wasn't seen for weeks after those allegations, and only China's state-controlled international media has publicised her appearances since.
World news from the BBC. European stock markets have fallen by more than 2% as investors fear tighter pandemic restrictions could be imposed. The falls in London, Frankfurt and Paris are the biggest in 3 weeks as cases of the new and highly transmissible Omicron variant surge across the continent. Britain's Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab has refused to rule out new measures in the coming days. The Japanese Parliament has approved extra budget spending of more than $300 billion to help the economy withstand the COVID pandemic. Most of the money will be raised through government bonds. The Prime Minister, Fumio Kishida, has made revitalising the economy his priority. The funds will be spent on digital and green industries. Officials from English football's Premier League are to hold an emergency meeting to discuss rising COVID infections. They'll consider the possibility of pausing the season until next year and look at how to rearrange games that have already been postponed. Laura Scott reports.
COVID is wreaking havoc with the Premier League schedule during the busiest time of the season. 6 of the 10 games that were due to be played over the weekend were postponed, with some squads experiencing uncontrollable outbreaks. The views are split regarding the pros and cons of a so-called circuit breaker. Those in favour argue that a chance to reset is necessary in the interests of player welfare, but there is resistance from others who say that restarting the league after a pause wouldn't be easy and there would be financial consequences too.
South Africa's Cricket Board says it will formally investigate the country's Director of Cricket, Graham Smith, and head coach Mark Boucher following allegations of racism. The pair were named in an ombudsman's report into alleged discrimination. They will continue in their roles during the team's current tour of India. Boucher has apologised after he was accused of using racist language to refer to a player in a team song. BBC News.
The news came to you with the compliments of Eureka Medical Laboratories.
Don't let the fear of contracting the coronavirus disease deter you from seeking the medical care you need. At Eureka Labs, we ensure the safety of our clients and staff with our rigid sanitization routine. This involves the use of ultraviolet lights to effectively rid the air and all surfaces of viruses and bacteria that may be present throughout the lab daily. The light works to rapidly inactivate microorganisms through a physical process that is invisible to human eye. So the next time you need a checkup, don't hesitate to give us a call on 225-7574 to schedule your appointment.
And now to end the news, here is a recap of the leads. On the local scene, Mr. Joseph Harmon says he will still be opposition leader, although Aubrey Norton has been elected leader of the People's National Congress Reform. The new market to Great Diamond Road was officially opened this morning. And in regional news, today is VAT-free shopping in Barbados. And that's the end of the news.
This has been the news, compiled in the News Talk Radio Newsroom. For ongoing updates, visit demerarawaves.com, and you can check facebook.com/demwaves and twitter.com/demwaves.